now though, so hey everybody, it's Ariel Asher, and we're just getting together here for, I believe it's week 3 of our Confident Speaker Training Program. And we were just talking about how sometimes, despite all of your best efforts, technology sometimes has a mind of its own. So that's what we were discussing before we just got on the phone today. Now, in our Confident Speaker Program, we have been really addressing the confrontational question that people get when you go to networking or whatever is, what do you do? We talked a lot in the first 2 sessions about your title and really trying to make it fun and really dig deep about the superpower that you provide. And that's how we sort of started our elevator speech. And we were talking about who you were showing up as. And we gave, everybody's got some great stuff. Holly was telling us that she's a mental health maestro. I love all of this creativity that we have. And even if it's not a woo-woo or just try to make it exciting, just for this, because what we're doing is that is creating a hook. So if somebody comes up to you and says, hi, how are you? What do you do? Well, as a mental health maestro, like that's got their attention, right? And then, of course, Holly can go on to describe that she actually provides technology platforms that help match people that are needing mental health support with practitioners that provide those services, right? So sometimes people might go a little bit brain dead, but definitely you'll hook their interest if you give it a snazzy title or something a little bit outside of the box. The reason that we frame the whole thing like this about the superpowers is just to inherently create that hook that we're going for in all public speaking, right? Or in persuasive public speaking, as it were. This is review, but remember that the questions are, what do you do? That's your super self-title. Who do you serve? That's your target audience. What need do you fill? That's the service that you provide. The benefits that clients gain from your work. Now remember, benefits is something abstract, okay? That's the transformation that you're selling, right? Going from A to B. So you can be creative. That's another area for creativity. Okay, so here's the template of our 30-second elevator speech. I'd love to have each of you go ahead and give this a shot just for fun. And remember that this is just for practice, so you can make up any super self-title that you want to, right? It's just for practice getting through this template. Anyway, so let's, Holly, I would love to call on you first. You're the first person that I see on my screen. Do you want to go ahead and give it a shot?
Sure. As a mental health maestro, I assist people in need with technology platform that, hold on, let me start over.
Go ahead, take the time you need.
Yeah. As a mental health maestro, I assist people in need with my educational technological platform to match their need with practitioner education so that they don't have a need anymore in terms of mental health. And if you'd like to take a next step with me, I'd love for you to contact me at holly@storyguide.ai.
Good job. Good job. I knew it got lost a little bit in the middle part, right? Got a little bit wordy in the middle part, but if you stick to the, if you sort of stick to the format, then you find yourself out of the loop. That's good. It's quite a mouthful, right? Especially for some of us that have complex things that we're doing. Sometimes this gets a little bit, it's so simple that it can get confusing in here. Anyway, so I don't know if you can play with us right now, but what do you think? Anna, you want to give it a shot as you're driving? As a superstar Parnelli driving.
Sure, yeah.
Who are you going to be today?
Practitioner. I will,
I'll
yeah, let's
prompt you.
see.
I'll prompt you as you go.
Okay. All right. And just so you know, I can't see what it is. So I'm just, if just to make sure I'm clear on it, it's who I am, what I offer, what the transformation is, like how clients will benefit and how people can reach me. Is that what it is?
That's it. You got it. You got it.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll wait for my cue.
Go ahead, my dear. So,
All
what do
right.
you do?
My name is Anna Brooke. I am an interdisciplinary healing artist, and I help people come home to what really matters, which is their empowerment and the ability to make strong choices to create the life that they want. People, let's see, hold on, I got to speak to this transformation. I'm like staring at like taillights right now. This is a very interesting way to do an elevator pitch. Let's see.
So you assist your target audience to feel more confident in their body or whatever, so that they
can create the life of their dreams that is fulfilling, the fulfilling life of their dreams. Let's use that. And if you'd like to learn more about it, you can connect with me at anna@annabrookhealing.com.
See, oh, what a multitasker, Anna. Let's give you a thumbs up for that. Really good.
Thank you.
Way to
you
go,
live
my
from
dear.
Route 1 in coastal Maine.
Well, I love that you're playing with us all the way from Maine, Anna. Thank you for being a good sport and being with us. Laura, you want to give a shot at it today? Be whoever you want.
You know, I think I'm gonna pass today. I'm actually recovering from COVID, if you can believe that.
Oh.
I'm on like my 5th or 6th day, so I'm really actually in a fairly good place, but I'm just not have all my like faculties about me, and I'm so enjoying listening to you guys, and it's inspiring and encouraging for me. So I think I'm just going to pass and just I'll
no
do some
problem, Laura. We want you to be 100%.
Yeah, I'm going to do some writing along with you guys.
Yeah, no problem. This is just to give you a safe space to exercise these and to try out some different materials, some different angles of things. It's why we do it every time. No worries, and you can even make up things. I don't care if it's who you really are or not. It's just to get the template. And I hope you feel lots better, Laura. I didn't know about that. Okay, so last time we touched in, and Anna, I don't think you were with us, and I'm actually not sure if I sent out the recording from the last time, but I'll do that. And we broke down, you can watch the last recording to get more details. We broke down the whole layout of the persuasive speech, and we talked about how the beginning of the speech, with that attention getting hook, and sort of the middle of the beginning of the speech as we broke it down, you'll see what I mean when you look at those slides, Anna, is really your elevator speech. So if you can kind of master that and then impose it on that part of where you are in your speech, you're doing great. This is just the roadmap. Remember that you want to have a couple points and you explain each point, sharing either a client example or going into more detail about those points until we wrap it up. The beginning of the end, I like that title, the beginning of the end, the middle of the end, and the end of the end, right? We're talking in terms of your speech, of course, not of the world. But remember, the beginning of the end mirrors the beginning of your speech, right? So you're summarizing your 3 points again that you just made and reminding your audience why it's important and perhaps highlighting the benefits of the transformation that's in store for them. Then you're going to thank your audience for their time and ask for approval to share those next steps. And just for a reminder, remember, it's like, have you enjoyed your time so far? You'll see this with a lot of coaches, okay? This is when you know that the offer is coming soon, right? Have you enjoyed your time so far? And then you go like this, and your audience will go, oh yeah, I really enjoyed my time, right? Because people will do that. They'll mirror you. And then you'll ask them, have you enjoyed your time? Did you get a lot of great nuggets? Oh yes, yes, yes. And you're nodding your head the whole time, and your audience will mirror you back. Trust me, I've been in theater, and Anna can probably back me up on this. If you do something, your audience is going to do something back. If you've done your job up until now, they're following you. All right. And so you will ask them, is it okay if I can tell you about the next steps of working with me? I like things in threes, and this nodding to get agreement. So asking them 3 questions. If you're on a stage, this is not so much important as if you're presenting from your, a chair in front of your computer, or even in your car, or the steering wheel of your car. It's not so important, but you'll want to break this up physically. Okay, so you can be what's called upstage, and you can say, did you have a good time? Did you get a lot of value? And then you want to change your body position, address a different section of the room. Did you get a lot of tips that you're going to be able to use and go home and harass your kids with, or whatever it is, like, right? And then you change one more time. So you're actually moving, right? And if you were, and depending on what kind of thing you do, we might even specifically choose different places on the stage that you would engage. All right. But this walking, planting yourself, addressing a question, getting agreement, right? You can be nodding your head while you're actually saying the sentence. Walking, not speaking while you're walking. That's another thing that I want to make clear here. I'm talking about live presenting, of course. You don't want to speak while you're walking necessarily. You'll make your point. Da, 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 da. Then we walk. Da, 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 da. Plant yourself. Make another point. Okay, so that your audience follows you. Those pauses are actually going to get their attention to come deeply onto you, because they're waiting, they're leaning to see what you're going to say. And if you're moving, they're watching you. Okay, so those are just little tools to get your audience to pay more attention to you. I'll save you going and getting a director's degree in directing to know how to do that, right, Anna? Okay, so enough about that. Let's move then to the offer. So I want to we go here at the end of the end, right, which is the call to action or the offer. My goodness, I have seen so many speakers shoot themselves in the foot right at this point. This is the cracking point. This is what separates the wheat from the shaft here. Okay, you can give a great presentation, and then something happens. You can hear it in people's voices. You can see a flush come across their cheeks. All kinds of things happen here, but people get uncomfortable because you're about to make it a sales conversation. Okay, now remember, it doesn't have to equate to sales, but you need to get comfortable enough with it that it is part of your presentation instead of this weird foreign moment. Okay, if you've watched a lot of public speaking, you know what I'm talking about. When people get to this point, their whole voice cracks, their whole body language changes. Be consistent with your body language. Keep open and keep your shoulders back and keep open to your audience. Don't withdraw. Don't lower your voice when you talk about money. Be careful of these things. Stay aware of it. Let's talk about the actual things that you can offer. You could offer a free report. That's easy, right? A free invitation. Doesn't even have to be about money. You can offer somebody, oh, I would love, if you're interested in what I was talking about today, I'd love to offer you a free gift, a free report. You could offer a free consultation or a reduced price, but what you want here is an easy yes program or gift. In exchange, they're going to give you their email address or some contact information from them, or you're going to send them somewhere. What is this? I don't know. Show up. I don't know what this is here. I'm going to click this link. Where does this go? Oh, this is just an example of an offer. I don't want to take the time to look at that because I want to outline what the offer is instead of showing you a film of somebody doing an offer. Okay, so let's talk about the offer. Now remember, I'm talking about this part here, this call to action. Now we talk about transitioning into your ending, thanking your audience. Remember, we're talking about, you know, getting agreement to them. Wasn't that nice? Didn't you love it? Isn't it great? Those are 3 questions, whatever the 3 questions are. And then right here, we set the stage with the transition. We transition from the speech to your offer by invoking a positive response about the information that you've just shared. So that's exactly what I'm just talking about. Remind them about who your ideal clients are. So did you enjoy yourself? Yes, and if you're somebody who is looking to get more comfortable in their body and feel more aligned with their soul, or if you're somebody who thinks that they might be a practitioner that could help people with their mental health, right? Remind them who you're looking for. Okay, and then you might want to try out, now share the name of your awesome program, widget, book, or whatever it is that you're going to give them. Okay, this is your free thing, whatever the free thing is. For example, did you get a lot of value out of today's confidence speaker program? Didn't you think it was great the way that we used that elevator speech as the beginning of our regular speech, and all the templates tie together? Wouldn't it be great to know what the next step is? Great. Now I want you to go to the Confidence Speaker Masterclass. You can go download the book, How to Talk to People, or something like that, right? So I've had so many widgets and things. My website at this point is like a gumball machine. So depending on who I'm talking to, I can send them to where the free widget is that they can download or get, which is usually like a landing page where they can put in their email address and get an autoresponder back with a PDF file of a report or book an appointment, something like that. So you transition and go, oh, only the sexy people want the very sexy people program, right? And then share a story. I had one client who was feeling like she could really use some sexy. So I told her, get in the sexy program. And she got in the sexy program and she felt so sexy. Okay, so that's the 3rd point. You can use an example of somebody else and how they transformed. Now, the second part, number 4, tell them the features. This is different, my friends, than the benefits. We're going to talk about the benefits in a moment, but let's talk about the difference between features and benefits. Features is we meet once a week in a Zoom room. Features is there's 6 sessions. Features is the nuts and bolts, right? You're going to get templates. Features is you're going to get this. Features are the things. Benefits are something different. Those are the emotional pictures, right? That is the transformation that, it's the transformation that's going to occur between the beginning and the end. It's the confidence they're going to feel. It's the freedom from pain and suffering. It's the clarity of mind and focus that they're going to gain. So the benefits are the feelings and the emotional picture part. You can really unpack your adjectives there to tell them about what benefits they're going to be. Once you get done telling them about the features, 6-week program meeting at 1 o'clock on Thursdays. We're going to do all these templates so that we get really good. And then we're going to feel confident. Those are the benefits. But confidence is the benefit. We're going to feel transformed. And then number 6 is describe the transformation. This is an opportunity to paint an emotional picture that will really target your audience. This is where you're going to say, Imagine feeling like your voice doesn't matter. Imagine feeling confused or not knowing what to talk about. Imagine having something to say but not knowing how to communicate it. And then imagine feeling empowered, feeling like you have a clear pathway, feeling like you can stand in front of any group and feel at ease to invite them to your next program or your next thing. So this part, describing the transformation, this is really, and also the benefits, you're starting to touch in on those emotions, but describing the transformation, spend some time there. To me, this is the most important part of the offer part, because you're creating that emotional picture that people are really going to go, oh, that might feel good for me, right? All right, then we'll move on to the next part. Then you're going to want to bring in client story or testimonial. Okay, number 7, the client story or testimonial. Okay, Sally did the Confident Speaker program and now she is an award-winning podcaster, blah, 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 blah. And if you would like the benefits that Sally got, look at number 8, then you share the regular price. Now, normally this is $1 million program, right? The regular price is the $1 million program. But today, because you've been such a good audience, this is the urgency offer price, right? You can have it for just $1.99. What? It's amazing. Are you kidding me? Right? So that's how you share the regular price. It's multi-million. You'll never be able to afford it. But today, just because, here's this urgency offer. Now, an urgency offer means that it has a date or a limitation. There's a scarcity going on, okay? Of course, all of these things are manipulative, people, right? This is NLP. This is how to use NLP in your favor, right? And then you're going to dangle the transformation crumbs, right? I like to dangle 3 crumbs. Remind them of the emotional picture. Remember Sally. Remember feeling like she was stuck in her car wondering, what on earth am I going to do next? You know, or remember, and then think of, you know, at your sister's wedding when they called on you to make a speech and you clammed up. And then imagine when you go to their anniversary dinner and you make the speech flawlessly, blah, blah, blah. I'm just, you know, making things up, right? And then we get the call to action. The call to action is very succinct. All of this is the offer, right? This is all painting the emotional picture of the future possibility. But the call to action is real simple. It just has to be, if you're ready to take the next step, sign up now. And then you stop, zip your lip, right? And then you just leave it. So a lot of times, if you're doing public speaking in conference rooms or whatever, you'll say, meet me at the back table, right? Or you can meet me at the back table and we'll get you a signed copy of my book. Or you can say, go to my website in virtual land, go to my website and get this fabulous widget, whatever it is, this download, this free offer, whatever it is that you're giving, okay? But these steps, oh my God, if you guys knew how much money I paid to get these steps, you would be nauseous. And they're really so simple, aren't they? I will give you a secret. I write all of my website copy based on this. Every page of my website, if you go and look on arielasher.com, every page for every service follows this template. Okay, I might tweak it around or refine things, but that always has all of these elements. So that is really what I wanted to cover today. The rest of our time is going to be specific to Q&A for you guys and whatever situations that you might be speaking in, or if you have any questions about offers. But this template for an offer, worth its price in gold. And hopefully I've presented it in a clear way that you can also see how easily that template for your elevator speech just can get glued right on the top. And also a lot of that stuff gets glued at the bottom end again. Okay, so you can always make sure that you know where you're going with your speech, right? And so that you don't feel like you're a deer in headlights ever. I've done that before, believe it or not. Then you can start like tap dancing or singing or doing something else, you know, whatever your hidden talents are. But it always feels better if you look very powerful, especially at the beginning of your speech and at the end of your speech, right? You want to end really well. So mastering the offer with these 10 steps that I've just shared with you ladies is something that really I wish that somebody would have given me this simple template like this. I've taught public speaking for years and years and years and years, and I probably got a template similar to this in about 2016 or 2017. And once I got that, I was like, why have I been working so hard? Right? Reinventing the wheel over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to stop the screen share and see now if there are any questions about making an offer or about what to offer as far as speaking. No.
I have a question, Ariel. Do you mean from a topic standpoint or a pricing standpoint? I'm almost home, so I'll see.
You know, you can ask any question you want, right? Any question that seems fit to you. It's your time now. I'm done presenting about the offer itself, but they're all good questions, right? And are you doing any speaking in conference rooms? Are you doing any? I don't even know what's going on in your area as far as COVID lockdown.
Oh yeah, no, this area is still pretty fenced off, as it were. So I think
that's a good thing.
Virtual. Yeah, I am not complaining. It just means that I get to spend a lot of time in front of my computer, which I don't mind at all. But it is I'm taking some steps to be more actively offering classes, and I was asked to sort of do a guest teaching / speaking spot at a friend's subscription program, and I got a new client out of it, and she's asking me to do it again on Tuesday. So I want to have it's a very timely question that you've just asked, because I want to be clear. I want to have a clear sense for myself, so that when I wrap up the talk, I can just, even in just like one discrete line, invite folks to connect if they're interested, because they're already paying for somebody else's thing, and I'm a guest, so I don't want to,
yeah, that's a great
my
question.
Offer all over. But
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, because that's something, the etiquette. A lot of times when you book a speaking gig, and this is something that we haven't talked about, this nuts and bolts stuff yet. When you book a speaking gig, you are going to ask, right? Is it okay for me to make an offer? Right? And you're going to make a free offer no matter what they say. Okay, you're going to make a free offer. If you like what you see, have something free. I think downloading books after you do your chapter in our book coming up, that can be something that you give away from the best-selling book. How would you like this free chapter? So that's a really a great thing to offer. And nobody gets mad when you offer people free downloads for something. Sometimes people get weird when you offer them free programs, like a 3-session program or something like that, because they feel like you're taking their clients away. So free downloads are really good for that situation, because kind of nobody gets offended about it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you would talk with the organizer, the producer of the event, and And if they're new producers, they might not have the answers to this, but it's always best to find out ahead of time whether you can make, because yeah, it's a lot of times if people have already paid at the door, they don't want to, you know, shell out more money. But I will tell you, Anna, that a lot of those conference room things, they're pay to play for the speaker, right? So the speakers are paying for the privilege of making an offer. A lot of times, right? Depending on what kind of speaking you're doing. Sometimes it's marketing. If it's keynote speaking and they're featuring you and they're paying, if they're writing a check to you, you do not make an offer. You just give them something free. You give everybody a free gift because they're already paying you, so you're not going to monetize. If you're speaking for marketing, which it sounds like you're doing in somebody else's community, that's when you can, if you make an offer, you want it to be a freebie. You're always going to make some offer. You're always going to say, oh, go to my website, and even if it's go to my website and sign up for the newsletter, which nobody wants to do, but even if it's that, you know, just so that there's something so somebody knows where to go for you. But yeah, I would stick with something low time commitment, as our friend Katerina, low time commitment and low monetary value, if not free. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's a really good reminder. Yeah, and then the second part of the question, which I realize is going to be different for everybody, is questions around payment and like what one would charge. And if we're going to talk about that in a future gathering,
well, let's talk about it now. Let's
Cool.
talk about it now since it's here. I really like to be in the moment and conversational. So do you have specific questions, or do you want me to just riff on that? Or
yeah, riffing is welcome.
For a keynote, depending on the company, I have done corporate spots where about $2,500 for is a good asking price, right? You can get more if even, but we're talking that was for Cisco, right? So it's for a big corporation, right? I could have probably gotten more. I wasn't good at negotiating, and I probably still am not good at negotiating, to be really honest. But I can warn you with what it all entails. You're going to want to have your speaker sheet, which speaker one sheet is what it's called in the business. And Anna, that's pretty much the equivalent of what an actor would call their headshot and resume. And it does have some particulars. You may want to get somebody who specializes in that. You can go on Canva and probably get something you can make yourself, but I would recommend trying to look and see what an industry standard one looks like. It is kind of, it's a little bit different than a resume, in that it talks about your talking points. So maybe you have like 3 to 5 talks that you do, or topics that you can speak about. I don't recommend that you put your prices right on your speaker sheet, but you may want to put some testimonials if there's any places, if you've spoken at any Katerina events or any of those kind of events. You want the producer or the project, whoever booked you, to write an endorsement about how easy you are to work with as a speaker, not how fabulous your talk was, right? Because you're trying to appeal to bookers. Do you understand what I mean by this?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure, because I know, Anna, you have a background in theater, so you get what I'm talking about, but sometimes the distinctions get a little bit muddy. And if anybody doesn't understand what I'm talking about, chime right in, because these are weird things that you just have to kind of figure out as you go. So you're going to want to look professional. If you're going to do a keynote talk, you could ask anywhere from $2,500, $5,000 if you're going to have to fly or need a hotel. So these things are not astronomical or out of the park. For more low-key, like health and wellness events, or, you know, it may be more in the neighborhood of 450. Or if you don't really know what to talk about or what to charge, Anna, you can say, what's your budget? Right? This is great, great for the planner. You just go, what's your budget? Now, I think this is great. I used to know a makeup artist, and she taught me this trick when I was working in producing a lot. And I always hired her because although I had another makeup artist that I worked with a lot, and her day rate was, I think, $850 at the time. So $850. But this other lady, she would just always say, whatever your budget is. Right. And so we would just, like, you know, whatever we had, we'd give that to Jan at the end. But that was real mom and pop management of the budget. Right. So she just wanted the work. So she would always say, whatever your budget is. Okay. Now, she wasn't speaking, but I'm just telling you, when you're hiring freelancers, which is basically what people are doing when they're hiring keynote speakers. Right. They're hiring a freelancer to come in, and they need to trust them that it's just going to be handled, right? With no BS, and you're not going to need this and that and the other thing, because they're trusting you to do your job. Just like if you were an actor and you were hired, you would show up, you would know your lines, you'd be camera ready, et cetera, et cetera. So you can charge whatever your travel time. I love about, it used to be in the old days, $450 was a half day rate, and about $1,000 for a regular day rate. For actors, I think pretty much the same for speakers. Keynotes can be more than that. So you can have a rate for keynote speaking. And then, like I said, depending on what you're booking or who is producing the event, you could. Oh, I'm letting you in. So, depending on who is producing the event, you may change your prices, or what kind of event, depending on if it's a marketing speech or a keynote speech, right? So, do you see the distinctions of what it is? Like if you're going to Kiwanis Club. A lot of times, like if you're going to Kiwanis Club, not that you would necessarily be speaking there, but if you were speaking at the Kiwanis Club, you might want to ask, well, what else is on the agenda for that day? Because you don't want to be speaking at a day when they're going to inaugurate all their new council members, and nobody's going to be paying attention to what the speaker is doing. So you may want to ask them what's going on, and you say, well, you know, I don't want to be forgotten. So since you're going to stick me in there with the crowning of His Highness the Grand Poobah, would it be okay if I make it an offer? Like, you can negotiate like that. Since you guys are doing that and it's actually taking more of my time, can you? Right? So you just need to put your producer hat on, your director and producer hat, and know that you are the talent, right? You are the talent. So you're looking for places to book the talent part, right? Does that answer your question, kind of?
Yeah, no, very much so. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a huge range, and you might change depending on the circumstance. It could change on how badly you want to speak there. If you want to know who their audience is, because if it's all your perfect peeps, you better believe, and you're allowed to make an offer, you better believe you're going to go do it all day long, because because you know that there's people in there that are going to say yes to your easy yes offer. Right? So even though normally I charge $5,000 for a keynote speech, but since you're going to let me make an offer, I'll come today if you'll pay for my parking, right? So you can negotiate this any way you want. But you want to ask questions, and you want to make sure that when you're getting recommendations for you as a speaker, it's not like, oh, it's not your clients. You don't want the recommendations from your clients. You want the recommendation from other party planners or bookers who are like, she was so easy. I just told her women's empowerment. She showed up. She did women's empowerment. Good to go. That's who you're writing the testimonials to, because that's who your speaker one sheet is for. It's not for it's not necessarily all your client transformations that you've ever made. It's how easy you are to work as the talent, right? Has nothing to do with what you're talking about, has nothing to do with anything like that. I hope that perspective gives you some understanding and helps elevate you so that you know what position you play when you're a speaker, because when you're marketing yourself, you have to think like a producer, right? Even though you're the speaker, but you're trying to get on other people's stages. So you have to appeal to their stage director, whoever the stage manager is, their stage director is, right? So that's whose good graces you're trying to get in with your speaker one sheet, et cetera, et cetera. Does anybody have any other questions about marketing materials or
Well,
kinds of...
do you have a sample of the marketing, of the sheets?
Let's see if I can pull up my speaker. I have a couple different iterations of my, I've got a really goofy one I'd love to show you. I wonder if I still have that one. It is so goofy. Yeah, and the colors are just wrong. It looks, I don't know, it looks terrible. I paid a lot of money for somebody to design that, and then now I have made a different one for me. So here's something, let's see, I've got a couple different examples. Let's start here. Here's something this is a handout that I made for, and this doubled as my speaker sheet. So I do vocalizations, right? And it was a sing-along, right? And then this doubled. So this was kind of this was my speaker sheet, okay? And you'll recognize all this stuff because you know these are the books that I've been in and everything. But I speak on each one of these subjects. That's why I chose these books to participate in, right? This one is on leadership. This one is actually on intuition and overcoming emotional trauma, okay? This one is women's empowerment. So those are my speaker topics, right? Those are my speaker topics. So this is kind of some awards that I've won for speaking and stuff. Let's see if I have a better one sheet. Let's see. I have so much stuff on here. Oh, here we go. So I have a 4-page speaker sheet, right? You want to keep it to a minimum. At this point, there's so much on my speaker sheet, and I've done so much speaking, it's kind of crazy. But these are my book talks, so I describe each one of the things like I just said to you: intuition and self-care, emotional trauma healing kind of stuff, women's empowerment, and leadership. So I give a little blurb in each one of those. And the reason I do it because they're my book talks is because I always bring a copy of my book. So if I'm talking about emotional awareness for leaders, maybe, is something that I might tie into my animal book because it's about overcoming from trauma or whatever. For me, I tie in leadership and self-care. I married those two, saying that any good leader needs self-care first, okay? And I invite you to go ahead and take that stance yourself. If you're a holistic practitioner like myself, Anna, and sometimes that women's leadership and the holistic woo-woo part seem like they're like in two totally separate camps. You can bridge the gap. You can find different ways to bridge things. Okay, here's some speaker testimonials, right? Awards that you've won, clients, Communication Academy, Developing Alliances is a women's Juniper networks, some virtual stuff. So you write, West Valley College. I did a series of stuff for kids. San Jose State University. I was an artist in schools at San Jose State University. So just, things that are relevant. Those are my clients, right? So that just means that I 1099 all these. That just means I 1099 all of those people. Those are my clients. Oh, here's the goofy picture. Here's the goofy picture of me. So this is a really long one. I go so far in this one as to talk about, this needs to be updated because our downloads now are not 14K, but 40K. Yeah. So that's getting pretty good, but I do include, and these these haven't been updated in a couple years, but the platforms that I'm on, the social reach, like this aspect right here, stuff like this starts to be important if you're trying to present yourself as an influencer, right? Probably a real influencer needs 3 or 4 times as much as I've got, but I'm getting there. But you might want to, you could throw in sort of those kind of statistics if it's helpful. If the marketing speech is that the company is wanting to reach into your reach, if that makes sense, if they're trying to collaborate with you because you have a large following and a large audience, that might be something that you would want to include. So this is lengthy. I made it more professional looking because it was very bright colors and kind of wild and had this like goofy picture of me going crazy, which I love. It's fun, right? But it's like, if you are a powerful and dynamic speaker, you want something powerful and dynamic, right? I was having a problem because I'm in the airy-fairy demographic. I'm in the airy-fairy category, but I'm a powerful speaker because I have all that background in theater. And so when I show up, they're like, whoa, she's not like woo-woo. She's like, bam, and here, and strong women's empowerment and leadership and, these kind of things. So you want it visually to represent how you're showing up. So my old one, and I don't think I have a picture of it here. Maybe I have it on the, I wonder if I have it anywhere. I'll try and do a search. When I show it to you, you'll see what I mean, because it was all pink and blue and swirly. And so it looked airy-fairy. Right, so I needed to make it have a little bit more weight visually so that I look like a leader, right? Heavier colors, more corporate square structure instead of a lot of swirly stuff, depending on who my audience is. Now, I don't change my speaker one sheet all the time, but I did need to update it because it was a little bit goofy looking. I have to... let's see, is this the one? If I have it, you guys. Oh,
How
no,
long have you been at this? I'm just curious. Like, how long have you been doing this particular thing?
Well, I've been teaching public speaking since 1990, right? But I didn't consider myself a public speaker. I taught image development, and I teach theater, I teach stage presence, I teach music, I teach, everything to do with everything on the stage and networking. So I have a lot of background, even though I haven't always promoted myself as a public speaker. Right. I've worked with kids, and it's just a skill. And with my degree in theater, it was very easy for me to get jobs as an artist in schools, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Okay, well, I got it. And thank you so much for the platforms and the formats.
So I can say, since 1990, I've been teaching public speaking. I don't know, I got a little bit of experience. So you can see, like, here's one. This is somebody actually did this one for me, but then I changed the colors on it because so I mean, I can show these to you if you like. But here it says Ariel is an inspirational speaker. Like, you want to have the describing, because they want to know, is this going to be somebody that's going to be contemplative? If you're going to do sound healing, event planners do not want to hire people that are doing deep meditation right after lunch. Right? You kind of like this kind of thing, you don't want to get them relaxed so everything falls into the tummy and everyone sleeps, and then everybody who goes after that for the rest of the day. So if you're doing empowering talks, you want to use language, colors, and present yourself. This is all part of your branding, right? It's all part of your branding and how you're presenting, right? I describe I'm dynamic, engaging, warmth, energy, entertaining, informative, right? That doesn't describe every speaker, but that describes me, right? We'll say Anna has a very soothing voice. She's consistent. She's nurturing. She's methodical about her presentation, right? So we could use those kinds of words to describe how she presents, right? That's why I was talking about the testimonials are for how you present, not for what your topic is, right? So it's a little bit different. I went off kind of on a tangent there, Laura. So first, since about 1990 is when I got my theater arts degree, and I began teaching public speaking and doing artists in schools
Yeah,
and
no,
supporting people with communication.
yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know if anybody else has any other questions. I didn't want to take up all the time.
No, you're good, honey. What is it? Anything else?
The only thing that I would just kind of want to remind women that are in power is that whenever you're doing a pitch for something, what I always know to be true is that whatever cost honors me and values where my value level is. The people that come to the party and embrace whatever I'm offering, it's directly relative to how much they will embrace the program that I'm offering. And the other customers, I really don't need. I don't need them to be a part of the program because they're not there yet if they're not willing to like pay the price, and they're just not at that level yet. And I just wanted to remind everybody to really honor themselves in that aspect. And I'm talking specifically about the price. Because, and I
Are you
always
talking about keynote speaking, or are you talking about just a coach offering their programs, Laura?
Well, I was talking about the coach offering their programs, but the keynote speaking, it applies to that as well.
Certainly.
I mean, it just, how you value yourself is how they will value you as well.
Of course. Self-worth is super important. Anna, we are just going to wrap this party up anyway, so it's the perfect time. If anybody else has any other questions, I'm still recording, so I got all of these other things on the video as well. And I'll just make an email that has the links to all of these speaker ones. And usually I'll take them and I'll put them in a watch list on YouTube as well, so that you guys have access to them, even if you miss the Zoom download, because I'm always at my limit on Zoom, and I don't like to keep anything stored on Zoom. I try to get it off of Zoom and put it where it needs to go. Anyway, so that was my fabulous offer template for today. I really encourage you. I love what Laura had to say about self-worth and value. Definitely plays into what's going on. If anybody needs, Anna, if you have any specifics about program pricing, just make an appointment with me and let's talk it through. Katerina teaches the fountain method. I'm happy to teach you the fountain method and how you can get your talks to match your offers. That's another thing. The two biggest mistakes I see with speakers is that there's a big difference between their talk, which they can totally rock it, and then their offer usually tanks. Yeah. Right? And that's the end. So you want to end well, right? And then the second thing is that what they're offering doesn't have anything to do with what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And then there's
please keep talking about, I'm going to listen to the recording because I have to hop into another meeting right now, but this is really valuable. So thank you, everybody. It's wonderful to connect, but I will keep listening. I'm sorry I have to go right now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Yeah. Making sure that your offers are congruent with your talks, right? So that's why you might want to have a couple different offers, right? You could, or something that's vague that you can offer. Okay, everybody, that's it for me today. If there's any more questions, just send me an email. I'm happy to spend some time with you. Holly, it's always great to see you. I hope you've gotten some value out of what we've gone over today. And Laura, I know we had something scheduled for last week. If you want to jump on, go ahead and schedule with me. My time is getting super filled up, so make sure you grab a slot if you need it.
I do. Thank you.
Okay. All right, everybody, I'll let you go for today. Take care.